Hands off Venezuela. Send the warships back. No war for oil. The affiliated organizations of the Anti-War Action Network share our disgust at the Trump administration's deployment of U.S. warships and troops to the coast of Venezuela. We demand that the U.S. remove its warships and troops from Venezuela's coast and out of the Caribbean immediately. We want peace with our neighbors in the Western Hemisphere, not Monroe Doctrine 2.0. We are calling on those who support peace with justice to say, U.S. hands off Venezuela. On September 2nd, President Trump and Secretary Rubio shared a video on social media that they wanted us to believe was an alleged airstrike in the Caribbean on a boat of Venezuelan origin claimed to be running drugs to the U.S. However, these claims require validation and verification. As students of U.S. imperialism's lies and propaganda, we approach official claims with critical thinking. We know the track record of U.S. imperialism manufacturing narratives like war on drugs and war on terror as cover for its goals of corporate profit and world domination. The crude oil reserves of Venezuela are known to be the largest in the world. In waters and territory with disputed ownership between Venezuela and its neighbor Guyana, ExxonMobil, a U.S. corporation, is pumping out oil that does not belong to them. Regardless of Trump and Rubio's lies about Tuesday's incident, we are here to say this is a power play for oil and control of the region. The increased military presence of the U.S. in the South Caribbean is a clear provocation to Venezuela and a setback for the sovereignty of all Latin American nations. The claim by the Trump administration that it has deployed multiple warships and strike forces to the region because President Nicolas Maduro is leading the criminal gang has absolutely no basis in fact. Declassified U.S. intelligence documents even debunk this. Let us recall that recently, Trump doubled the bounty for the arrest of Maduro to $50 million. This is slanderous and outrageous. Many years of international reports describe Venezuela's successful efforts of combating narco-trafficking. Most drugs make their way to the U.S. on the Pacific side, with Colombia, Ecuador, and Mexico being the main producers and routes. Trump's bellicose threats are dangerous and violate Venezuelan sovereignty for the profits of multinational oil corporations like ExxonMobil. In 1999, ExxonMobil bought the rights to explore for oil in Guyana in a sweetheart deal. As oil discoveries proceeded from 2015 and beyond, we must note that then CEO of ExxonMobil, Rex Tillerson, needed to step down in order to join the Trump administration as Secretary of State in 2017. It should be no surprise then that the White House began intense attempts at regime change by asking Latin American leaders if they would support the U.S. invading Venezuela in 2017. This led to the U.S. sponsoring opposition groups to be more confrontational and violent, to coordination of an assassination attempt on President Maduro in 2018 with a drone explosion, then declaring Juan Guaido to be the president and later supporting a failed coup in 2019. The whole while there was intensified U.S. economic sanctions to wreck the economy. There were also attempts by U.S. and other mercenaries to infiltrate and provoke a military coup in 2020 and again in 2025. Trump is back and escalating by trying a more full frontal approach, threatening the Venezuelan coastline with U.S. Navy ships that can launch hundreds of missiles in addition to thousands of U.S. Marines for a beach invasion. Since every other U.S. intervention in Venezuela has failed its goals, it is abundantly clear now that the dying empire is in desperation mode to try to rein in Latin America to keep it in its orbit. With Trump and Rubio at the helm, we must first expose their lies aimed at manipulating the U.S. public to approve Trump's decision to escalate to an open military conflict against Venezuela. Then we organize in our cities to publicly demonstrate our demands against yet another U.S. intervention in a sovereign country. AWAN stands in resolute solidarity with the people and government of Venezuela in mobilizing millions to defend their country from U.S. war and aggression. U.S. warships go home, no war for oil. U.S. hands off Venezuela.